So we just got a new roster update in MLB The Show 21. And even though some players didn't go to diamond or in gold like I thought, this is a great time to invest in the market. A lot of people are selling the cards that they tried to invest in that didn't go up to diamond and gold. So if you're going to get into investing cards, today's the day, or at least this weekend is the time to buy these cards. I haven't done a video yet where I directly suggested a lot of players, so today we're going to do that. And I'm going to show you guys some players that are probably worth taking a shot on over the next couple weeks. Let's get into it. YouTube, what is going on? In case you don't know me, my name is Scan. I do upload nearly daily MLB The Show tips, videos that help you all get better at the game or even make stubs like this. So if you are brand new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Just in general, we are on our way up to 8,000 subs. All of you guys who hit that sub button are very much appreciated. I can't thank you all enough for the constant support on the videos. Also, I do stream on Twitch. I streamed this roster update as it went down. So if you have any questions on things, on players you should invest, things like that, don't be afraid to stop by the stream, ask away over there, and that is the best place to find me outside of these videos. But without further ado, let's get into a roster update and things like that. So before I talk players, there are two things I want to talk about. First, I want to talk about the atmosphere of the market right now and why I like to take shots right now in the market instead of waiting a week or two as we get closer to the next update. And then we're going to talk about, just in general, one avenue of investing that a lot of people don't acknowledge much that can really make you some good stubs in the long term. So now we'll just talk about the market. The reason I am investing in these cards today, tomorrow, Sunday, is because it is right after this most recent roster update. A lot of people bought cards that they thought were going to go up to diamond, and this update especially seemed kind of disappointing, I feel, to many people. I think people kind of expected guys like Lance Lynn and Gossman to potentially go up to diamond, but I think a lot of people expected Marcus Semien, maybe Chris Bryant or Jesse Winker, whoever they all thought could go make that jump, and obviously that didn't happen. But if there's any good news to take out of it, if you haven't invested in these players yet, I would probably recommend investing in them now, because these people are selling the cards assuming they probably wouldn't get the diamond at some later point and are putting up their orders now to get rid of them. And if you did happen to invest in those guys, I would really hold on to them. Obviously, you have to wait 2 weeks. You could use stubs now. I would recommend holding on to them, because in a couple weeks from now, you could definitely make those stubs that you may have thought you lost, but just by holding on to them, there's no real loss there. One thing I wanted to talk about as well is looking at orders and kind of stocking up on buy orders for players that you think are going to go up. And I don't think I've seen many people talk about this, but this is a good avenue to make some long-term subs on players that you are really sure will go up in overall. And I want to look up an example on the market. So looking at Corey Kluber, you probably see one thing that is very confusing. He has sell orders for 100 stubs. The reason that happened is because he dropped down to silver earlier this year, and some people preloaded a bunch of orders. They put in a bunch of buy orders for 100 subs, anticipating he would go up to gold. Now that he's a gold, those orders are the only sell orders. There aren't any sell orders for 1,000 subs. So some people I have found get the cards and just hit that quick sell button automatically without really paying attention at all. And they're selling these players now on the market at that 100 sub price point. If you are lucky enough to get that player at 100 stubs that is a gold player, all you have to do is take that player, quick sell it out of your inventory, and that's 900 stubs. Since you're quick selling the card at that 1,000 sub value, you're getting more stubs off of it because you don't have any tax on the market. You're essentially paying for a silver and getting a gold in return. It's a good little thing you can do if you really think someone gets an upgrade from gold to diamond, silver to gold, whatever situation it is. Put in a bunch of orders at a super low price, and when they get that upgrade, you have those orders still sitting there, and people may sell them to you still, allowing you to make some good subs off it. And now that I talked about that very quickly, I'm just gonna go through different tiers of players. I have a whole list of gold to bronze players I think could get upgrades at some point in the next 2 weeks. Players that I think are worth taking a shot at right away at this point, or at least in the grand future, who can definitely get back up to diamond at some point this year. First, let's look at some golds. There are two classes of golds that I am gonna define here. One group are a group of golds that I thought should have gone diamond this update, didn't go diamond, and I think should keep up that pace to go up next update. Obviously, injuries are a factor, and maybe they don't keep up the current streak, which is a risk factor. But these players are 84 overall players, and some people may think they go up to diamond anyway, even if they are struggling. just because they are so close to diamond rating. All it takes is one small upgrade and they can get up to that point. And these 3 players that I really think should have gone diamond as update are Ozzie Albies, Zach Wheeler, and Marcus Semien. I thought they were all going to be a solid chance at going diamond, but now that they're 84 overall, I think they have to get up their next update. They're not a lock per se, since we do have 2 weeks to wait. These players have been great all year and have had a track record of being good and have a great chance of keeping it up for 2 weeks just to get that upgrade to diamond. I genuinely thought we were going to get them diamond this week. It didn't happen, but I'm holding on to them, waiting for the next update. And if you didn't invest in them, make sure you invest in them soon, because yeah, they are already in the mid 2000s. Give it a week and it'll probably be close to 3,000, maybe even close to 4. So these players I'm going to list now for golds are players I think are more of a long-term thing. They have been doing great from my knowledge as of recent, and they probably won't get their next update, but they are around 1,000 stubs, so they're worth taking a shot at to go up at some point. These players are Francisco Lindor, who did start off very cold this year, but has turned it around. He's got the bat going again. Jose Abreu, who actually got one of the Player of the Month cards for the May monthly awards, but for some reason they gave him a downgrade in the roster update. I don't know what happened with that, but I think he's definitely on pace to go up closer to diamond again. He was a diamond early this year. If he gets a hot streak, he could definitely get back to that point. I think Pete Alonso has a fair chance. He's got the power. All he needs is a little bit of a contact upgrade, which he has been hitting great for contact in comparison to normal. His last few weeks, he can get that bump back up. Teoscar Hernandez is someone who has had a good season the last couple years and is a little bit on a slump this last week or so. He's just a hot streak away from going up to diamond. And finally, Jose Altuve has been hitting for some pop the last few weeks, and his power is relatively weak, especially versus lefties. He's probably just a little bit of a power boost away from going diamond. I recommend taking a shot on some of these guys if you have a lot of extra stubs, because these are the players that are cheaper, and if you really do invest in them, it could be a good long-term investment, especially if you're buying them close to 1,000 stubs. Now let's talk about some silver players I recommend you guys getting. These ones I think are the locks, I guess we'll say, to go up to gold, or at least the most likely. They're high 70 overalls, and these players honestly could have went up to gold this update, but obviously that didn't happen. First, we have Abseil Garcia, who is a generally underrated player who definitely can get that bump up with just a little bit of a hot streak. Someone who I thought should have went gold last update was Rich Hill, your American League Pitcher of the Month, but they only bumped him up 1 overall. The only issue is he isn't striking out that many people, but he definitely can go up to gold with how well he's been pitching. The new silver, Cedric Mullins. He is 454 stubs and seems to be an expensive investment based on how he's playing IRL, but if you get him within the next couple of days, you can make at least 500 subs off him for each card if he does happen to go up to gold. Definitely worth a shot. Next, we have Lourdes Gurriel Jr. I heard a lot of people talking about getting a potential bump up to gold. He definitely can. He sees a little bit of a boost in attributes versus righties. And my final one, Trevor Rodgers, who hasn't having a great year for the Marlins, but he wasn't even touched his last roster update. A lot of people clearly want to invest in him at 516 stubs. I think he could definitely be at that point where he gets to a gold this next update if he just keeps up what he's been doing. Now, here's some silvers I think are apparently more of a long shot at getting up to gold. First, we got Mitch Haniger, who has been in the home run race, so I'm kind of surprised why he has such low power. I'm not expecting 90 power, but you know, mid-80s power versus both sides will be that bump that gets him up to gold. But he just hasn't gotten that yet for some reason. Kendall Graven was someone a lot of people invested in before he got injured. He was on the IL a few weeks back. He just came back within the last couple days. At only 311 stubs, he could be a great shot to go up to gold based on how well he's pitched this year. Next, we have Austin Meadows, who has had a killer year so far this year. He had a down year last year, I recall, but the year before was very good. And definitely a guy that could be on pace to get back up. This really needs a little bit of a boost in attributes versus lefties, but as a low silver, he could definitely get up to gold with how well he's been hitting this year. Next, we have Taiwan Walker, who is only a 76 overall, which is wild. But he may be someone that can get a nice bump up to gold someday soon. I feel like he's been striking out people a lot in real life based on what I've seen. And 57 Ks for 9 seems a little low. And finally, no bias aside, this is just based on who I've been watching a lot recently. Gleyber Torres, I think, could have a shot to go up to gold again. But honestly, the contact is the only thing keeping this card from being a gold. He has been hitting well. Batting average rises last month. He could get that upgrade back up to gold, because if you remember, he only got downgraded for the most part in the contact category. Now I'm just going to speed by some bronzes to keep an eye out on. This is a mix of guys who are long-term guys, some guys that you may have to take a little bit of a shot on, but these are players that I can see getting up to silver at some point soon, just based off of what I've seen and heard. First, we have Gary Sanchez. He's a 74 overall, and he is only 37 stubs. If you've been watching him, he was on a little bit of a hot streak these last few weeks for the Yankees. If he somehow keeps this up, Gary could definitely be back up to silver at some point. Next, we have Miguel Anderhart, who I know we're seeing a lot of Yankees, but Anderhart has gotten the power stroke going since he's come back up with the Yankee team, and he definitely could use a little bit of a bump up versus lefties. He has been a silver before. He definitely can get there again. He's a good enough hitter to get to that level. Next, we have Willie Adames, who, if you are a Brewers fan, you may know, he has been doing great for them. I heard a lot of talk, and the Brewers took a shot on him, and so far, he has been hitting well for him, especially in the average department, I believe, as well. Keep an eye out on Willie Adames to keep up a hot streak and get to like low silver at some point. Right next to him, we have Jazz Chisholm, who a lot of people thought would get up to silver. This update did not happen. Maybe next update is the one for him. Next one, Patrick Wisdom, who, if you've been keeping track of what he's been doing these last couple weeks for the Cubs, has been kind of wild. He even got a top now card for how he's been. This may even be a good shot to go up to gold at some point based on how he's hit. I wouldn't bank on it, but you know, you never know what happens. He could get the Adolis Garcia treatment if he keeps up this pace and get up to gold at some point. Next, we have Alex Manoa, who I think some people invest in to go silver. He is pretty cheap right now at 37 stubs, and he has pitched pretty well IRL from my knowledge. Seems like a great young starter to potentially go up to silver at some point. And I'm going to put these two in the same class again. Keep an eye out on Emmanuel Clase and Alex Reyes. They're both in the same class of having little to no control on their stuff, but somehow pitching pretty well this year. Clase, I know, kind of hasn't been the same. They just got to get some things going with that control, and they could probably make a jump up to silver or maybe gold at some point. At least from my knowledge, they have been solid closers this year. Just don't spend too many stubs because relievers are a little bit weird. And that is going to be it. Hopefully, I gave you guys some good tips on investing in things like that. Don't be afraid to give a shot at some of the players I mentioned in this video. I want to be clear. There is always a risk in investing in live roster updates. If this update we got this week was not a tell of anything, anything can happen. Some players that we thought were virtual locks to go up didn't even go up a smidgen. So you never know what's going to happen. There's going to be a risk. And if you are questioning things, just if you buy them cheap enough, there's really no risk. If you're buying them close to their quick sell value, there's really no potential risk of losing stubs if you sell them before the roster update. Comment and let me know who you guys are investing in, taking shots in. I would love to see this conversation expand in the comments. If we could share all the players we're going to try to invest in as this next roster update comes around. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like if you learned something new, and I'll see you on the next one. Deuces.